The Highbury Aqueduct Reserve, along with the Hope Valley Reservoir, and along with the bike park, the little park with some bike jumps across the road, across Awoonga Road from the Hope Valley Reservoir in Highbury, have been impacted by an infestation of giant pine scale over the last year or so. April last year, the infestation was discovered. August, we had large areas of land shut off from the public, destruction of trees, many of which are now wood chips, some of which has now been removed. I sought a briefing late last year and eventually received one early this year from the government in relation to the detail of this, and I have reported some of that to the House before. The key point is that obviously the first priority is to ensure that our forestry industries are protected, that the pine scale threat is eradicated, and it's important that that has been the first step. Last year I would have liked to see earlier and better communication with the public, but eventually that happened as well. I still get questions, of course. One of the reasons why communication is so important, I still get questions from people stopping me in supermarkets asking what's happening with this land. Is the government seeking to sell it off for housing? Is there some reason the trees have been removed? All manner of stories are going around in the community, and I'm able to obviously provide the advice that I've been briefed with, but I urge the government to communicate more effectively in that train. One of the key opportunities for improvements and moving away from the Highbury Aqueduct Reserve land to the Tea Tree Gully Council land is obviously the council has instated some bike jumps on their land, and there's a fairly barren landscape apart from that. There's very limited shade. There's one lonely tree in the middle of the jumps and some others around the outside, obviously having escaped the pine scale infestation. But there's no shade, and that tree barely provides any shade at all. There's nowhere for people to engage in a community way unless they're specifically there to use those jumps. Tea Tree Gully Council has obviously a desire to work collaboratively with the government, and I encourage the government to work collaboratively back, but ultimately there's going to be a financial request of one way or another, and certainly people in my community see this as an opportunity for the government to play their part in ensuring that that land, that opportunity for recreation, passive and active in that passive land can be restored over the coming years. It's not going to be a quick fix, but it will need decisions this year for us to get any sort of improvements in a timely fashion. So I urge the government to work collaboratively with Tea Tree Gully Council there. On the other side of the road is the major challenge and opportunity at the Hope Valley Reservoir. There are still thousands of trees there. There have been 900 trees removed as a result of this pine scale infestation, but there's still large numbers of trees. There's still enormous opportunity for people to engage on the western side of the reservoir, and the sweat track and walking opportunity. But the opportunity to open up that reservoir has always been a bit unfulfilled. The former government, we had money in the budget to extend that work, particularly the opportunity for walking trails to go further around the reservoir, and that's desired. But many people in the community would like more active and passive recreation opportunities on that reservoir. This is the time for the government to formally consult, because one way or the other there's going to have to be large amounts of replanting of trees. Whether with, I suspect the department's probably going to be looking at native trees, maybe hopefully native pines. We'll see. Some people would prefer to be replanted with pines. I think that's less likely by the Environment Department. Nevertheless, there's going to be replanting of trees. And the manner in which that is done would surely be best done hand in glove with any consideration of walking trails going through that area. Reduce the cost of the walking trails massively if it's done in coordination with whatever replanting effort is coming. And if there are to be, as I suspect many people in the community want, as I know many in the people in the community want, further recreational opportunities with the opening up of that reservoir, then now's the time to do the consultation so that the work on it can be done in conjunction with the replanting effort that must happen in the time ahead. None of this is going to be cheap, but the replanting effort is what is going to drive significant budget investment in the Hope Valley Reservoir in the coming year or so, hopefully sooner rather than later. And so, I mean, frankly, months ago was the time for the government to start consulting, but I'll give them a tick if they start it now, if they start formally consulting on what the community wants at Hope Valley Reservoir. because I have no doubt that this is an opportunity for the community to get more access to a beautiful part of our local environment, opportunity for, just as has been done at other reservoirs, in Maiponga, Happy Valley, and some of the others, to really open up a wonderful experience for local residents and make it a destination for people from further afield. So those issues I think are important, and it's an opportunity for the government to listen ahead of the budget to them.